Hi guys, this video is a tutorial about how to build your own bike stand out of PVC pipes. So yeah, you can find a lot of instructions or a lot of tutorials online. It's very easy. A lot of them have their own measurements, but you have to be really careful about that because yeah, every size of bike needs its own size of stand or rack bike stand. So I decided to use quite long pipes here. I was measuring, with measuring tape, of course, this size. I have a rather large bikes. They are 29 inches wheels, so they're mountain bikes, but I have pretty big wheels, so it was difficult to find something like out of the store, so pre-made. So I decided to go with self-made PVC bike stand, but I was using the measurements from another guy who did that and took I made everything a little bit bigger. So yeah, when it doesn't fit and you can't extend the size, but you can make it smaller quite easily. So my advice is to make the things a little bit bigger. I will put underneath in the description or comment section, I will put the my measurements, which I'm actually using at the moment, but my really advice is start a little bit bigger. It's easy to cut them and make them smaller. And my second advice is actually not to glue these things, or at least not to glue them from the beginning. So, and I have one really big tip or big advice which we will see later. So I start with that. This is like the more or less standard instructions or standard model most of the people are using. This is not really bad. I mean, you can flip it down and use it other way around, but for me it was intended to use it in the garage and then screw it down to the button. So yeah, this is how it looked at the beginning. So I put just everything together. You use some kind of saw, either jigsaw or something like that. I ended actually with a jigsaw. It was a little bit easier than this one. So this is how it looked at the beginning. Everything seemed to be quite good. A few pictures from doing the work. Of course, you need a hammer, something to attach to hold it in place when you sew. Um, yeah, and yeah, here you see a sample when it's in place actually, and I was using that. So the thing is only it's not so stable, especially when it's not glued. So you might think, okay, you just glue it and then everything is fine. Yeah, more or less. Yeah, a lot of people do that. They just glue it, and but what happens after a couple of weeks? You think, it was not so good. Maybe it doesn't work. Yeah, maybe it should have been a smaller size or bigger size, or mean a little bit more gap or less gap, whatever you really need to move bikes in and out. Sometimes you just see it after a couple of weeks or even months what's really the best size to handle. And maybe you need more space in the garage, or you get more space in the garage. Yeah, so after some time you will see what the best fit is for you, and then when you have already glued that, yeah, you are in trouble. Of course you have to cut everything, and Yeah, then it's a little bit a mess. You have to do much more work. So the best thing, based on my experience, is not to glue these things, at least not for the beginning. But how can you do that to make it stable? So this is the advice, like this is how it looks. Most people are using this, yeah, this model, and but of course they are gluing it to get it more stable. I changed the whole thing, so I need a more little a few more pictures to come to the end. Yeah, here you see it's really tricky to build something like that because you have to be careful with the width and height and everything, and how finally yeah, there must be some gap between the rack and the disc brakes. It shouldn't touch or bend too much. It should be stable but not too stable. It's really difficult. So this is it, how I ended up with it. So I added this four pieces also at the top. You see, compared to here, here I had only these things, like here, like single stands. They were connected, but like single stands. And when I moved by the bikes in, it bended too much, so it was quite unstable, and it tended to flip over, or yeah, as long as I didn't glue. So here is I switched out these pieces and inserted these four same size pipes as at the bottom, and now it's much more stable. And I think I will it will never be necessary to glue these in. So at the end, when I want to extend this with another bike, I can just pull it apart and make a few additional parts, pull it together again. If something breaks for some reason, I just, yeah, do the same, pull it apart, replace a few of these parts and put them together again. So I think it's much more easy when you can avoid gluing these things, and you can save work, and you're really flexible. So you see, this bike, for example, it tends to move the handlebar to the side, and yeah, you will find out just after a couple of weeks what really the best size and width are. So at the end, you will have to make some changes, some adaptations to the original design you have, and then you're lucky when you have not glued this. So you can change, like if you want to cut one half an inch or so of every piece, you can do this in half an hour when it's not glued. If it's glued, yeah, it's a huge mess. It's almost impossible to change. So yeah, I can only recommend, do not glue this and use this additional pipes on top to make it more stable, and then you're flexible. You save a lot of pain, a lot of additional work. This is in contrary to most of the other designs which I have found in the internet. But of course you probably will find the same, that other people did this already like this. I haven't found this. Most people used other designs, but I really can recommend that. At the end, I'm using this since a couple of weeks or even months, and I'm really fine with that. It worked perfect, but I had to adapt this size at least one time. So yeah, I will put my measurements underneath in the comment section. This is for, as I already told, really wide mountain bikes. I mean, mountain bikes with really wide handlebar and 29-inch wheel. So I think this is a really good starting size. These are one of the largest bikes, or at least mountain bikes. Probably you have smaller ones, and then you can shrink or start with this size and cut out pieces at the end. So I hope I was able to help you a little bit with that. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.